You can implement just one thing and get really good at that, and it will definitely save you a ton of time, and then you can take that time and actually use it on something that you really want to invest in. You are listening to Moms in Business, where I help creative mompreneurs gain clarity and confidence by turning their passions into profitable, organized businesses free from tech overwhelm. I'm Samantha Welch, a homeschool mom and creative business strategist who turned my photography passion into a thriving business while balancing family life, and now I'm here to help you do the same. I know as a busy mom, your time is precious, and that's why my episodes are designed to maximize your productivity and help you make the most of every moment you have to build your business. So whether you're folding laundry, dealing with a pile of never-ending dishes, or in the car, I'm excited to be here and help you take your business dream to the next level. I'm so glad that you have come and joined me for another episode of the Moms in Business, and I'm really excited about this episode, as I am with all episodes, just because this kind of business talk and the nitty-gritty of running life and business and stuff is just seriously like my jam. I enjoy this stuff so much. I could literally talk all day. You could ask my friends. It's a little bit of a problem, but thank goodness for podcasting. And if you're tuning into this, it's because you want to hear it. So let's get started. Today's episode is going to be something that I have worked through a lot within my own life, and that is the idea of maximizing time. So I'm going to give you guys 3 real life, my tried and true ways of maximizing time. And I might say that I am a bit obsessed with using my time productively. And so I have definitely experimented with a lot of time management stuff. And these right here have seemed to be things that have kind of stuck. So the first one is to pair a mindless task with a thoughtful one. And when I say that, what I mean is pair a task that you don't have to do a lot of thinking about. So tasks that I don't think about a lot anymore are laundry. Like, I don't have to physically think about where the clothes go, how to fold them, because I've done it so many times. Another thing is editing photos. So as a photographer and having edited photos for years, it's almost one of these things that I can literally mindlessly think about something else as I'm editing a photo, just because subconsciously I know all the things that need to happen. Another thing is driving, dishes, all those chores that you just do so many times that you find yourself being able to think about something else while you're doing the chore. In fact, that's a good gauge of a mindless task, is when you do that task, do you think about other things? And so then pair that with a thoughtful task. I think a kind of interesting example of this that I do within my own life is that I edit a podcast and edit photos at the same time. And let me explain how I do that. So with editing photos, like I said, I have done it for so long that I literally know all the stuff that needs to happen. And so I'm just using my eyes basically to gauge that the photo looks correct. But as far as like all the sliders and all the buttons and all that stuff, it's almost a subconscious thing now. Versus as editing a podcast, I'm having to actually listen to the words and to the conversation so that I can make sure it flows well and that I'm removing any stuff that doesn't need to be there. And so I'm able to do those two things together because of editing so long and it being so much a mindless task. And so I'm really able to focus in on what's being said on the podcast so I can edit it. And it's kind of the same idea as I used to edit and then listen to podcasts at the same time. But now, since I have my photography, but also my podcasting, then this has been a good way for me to kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone, you might say. Another example of this that I use within my own life is using driving time when I'm by myself, which is not very often with kids, but if I have like a wedding or something I need to go to, and so I'm driving by myself, then I can use driving time to brainstorm. And I do this using ChatGPT, which is amazing because then I'm able to just get some ideas out that have been floating around in my head, almost in kind of this judgment-free zone, because we all have those ideas that we think in our mind they sound pretty good, but then when we go and tell a real life person, it's kind of like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said anything. Well, the beauty of using ChatGPT is you can get all those ideas out and actually have like a little bit of feedback, especially if you've trained ChatGPT already to know your voice, your values, and what you hold as important, which I'll do a whole nother episode on how to train your ChatGPT. But for now, this is an amazing way to just be able to do these two things in one go, because driving is something that for the most part we don't do a lot of thinking about. It's more of a subconscious, and so we're able to just really talk out some ideas and have some major breakthroughs. The second way that you can maximize your time is batch work. So batch work, and I know you might be thinking, oh yeah, batch work in business, but actually I'm talking about batch work in the home. So especially us as mompreneurs, if we're at home with our kids, homeschooling our kids or whatever, there's a lot of tasks that have to be done within the home before we can even get to business. And so batch working in the home is actually a great way to cut down on some of the time that you're spending on things. So an example of this is that I batch work all of my laundry. That does sound kind of weird, but truly I do batch work laundry. So I do laundry on Mondays and Thursdays only, and I literally just do one load after another. Like I almost stay in a laundry mode. Now, of course, you're going to be doing other tasks between the loads of laundry. And so I've noticed that this actually helps me stay up on laundry. And so I'm not ever usually behind unless for some reason we've had a really weird Monday or a really weird Thursday. And that's just because I consistently know that Monday and Thursday is when I'm going to be doing laundry, and I'll just keep that washer and dryer going. And as soon as the load comes out of the dryer, instead of just like storing it in a basket and not doing anything with it, I'll just immediately fold it. And I'll usually just fold it as I get it out of the dryer, and I put it in the basket folded, depending on what it is. Sometimes it's easier to dump it out on a bed just because you can't really do that with little socks and stuff. But I just stay in that mode and I just batch work that, and I just get it all done in one go, so that on the other days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I don't even have to worry about laundry. So I'm not constantly running back and forth and having a load of laundry that's piling up on me, or making it where I'm having to restart the load because I forgot that I put it in on Monday and now it's Wednesday. I just consistently batch work laundry. This idea can also work just on our daily tasks. So you know that you have to clean the kitchen every single day, and you have to wipe down bathroom sinks, and you have to vacuum, and all the stuff that happens when you have kids, because there's just always messes that are being created. But this is something that you can also kind of batch work. So depending on how your brain works, you can either batch work it by the room or you can batch work it by the task. So for me in particular, I tend to batch work by task. So I have my rags and I have my spray, and I'm literally just going from room to room, wiping down the countertops, cleaning the mirrors, getting the random marks off the wall, and I just literally go to all of the main rooms for that. And that's usually going to be like the bathroom and the kitchen and the living room for us. And I'll just get that all done, and then I will then move on to the next thing, which may be gathering up dishes. And as I've also been known to batch work my batch work by, while I'm going through the house, cleaning all of the spots and everything, then I'm also, with the other hand, gathering up all the random dishes that just happen to be laying around. And so then I put those in the sink. And so I end in the kitchen and I'll like rinse the rag out, put the spray back under the sink, and then I put the dishes in the sink. And so that's just kind of like one of those ways that you can just kind of get all of that stuff done in like less than 5 minutes. And also know that it's all done instead of just like, oh, I need to clean this bathroom sink. And so you go and you get the spray and you get everything, you clean the bathroom sink, and then you go put it up, and then you realize, oh, there's spots in the living room. Okay, I gotta go back and get that. This just saves you like all that time because you've already got it out, and then you just go and you just complete the whole thing. And it's like 5-10 minutes, depending on how many kids and like whether you're coming off the weekend or something where everything has been neglected. And then you just get it all done instead of having to just go back and forth, and completing that same task over and over again. If your brain works though by doing it by room, then this idea still applies. You would just want to have all the stuff that you're going to need for the rooms with you. So you might carry around like a little basket with all of your cleaner stuff and the vacuum, and then you just complete room by room, and you can do it that way. It really just depends on how your brain works. For me, it works better just by the task. Okay, the third and final tip, which is one of my favorites, is to use your resources. I love learning about new resources and being able to really maximize my time and effort just by doing a little bit of front-end learning how to use something that then saves me a ton of back-end time. So one of my favorite resources for just absolutely saving time is using AI. So using ChatGPT in particular for me. So things that used to take me so long to do, like meal planning. Oh my goodness, I hate meal planning. It literally took up so much time and was so stressful. And then you had to figure out what you had and then go and either look up the recipe or find an old recipe. But now I can just go into my pantry, look at what I have, look at what needs to be eaten up, look at what's in the fridge, and then go to ChatGPT and say, hey, these are the ingredients that I have. This is what needs to be eaten up. This week is crazy busy, so I need really short prep and short cook time meals. And then click enter, and it will literally come up with an entire meal plan. So, I mean, talk about saving time. That used to take me like 2 hours to just figure that out. And then I didn't even do it half the time because it was so stressful and I was like, I don't even want to do this. And now I can simply just go in, tell my assistant what I have, what my week is like, and it will come up with a meal plan. And that is totally amazing. Another example of this might be that you need to gain like some knowledge really, really quick on just how to do something, and you can take and you can copy and paste an entire article into ChatGPT and then ask it with a prompt to summarize it in less than 500 words, break it down into bullet points on the main things that you need to learn from it. And you can also ask it to just give a quick summary of what you need out of it based on the needs of why you were reading the article. So, you know, like if you're doing like a whole article on how to correctly plant something in the garden or something, but the whole article is like how to do multiple plants, you could just say like, I just need to know how to plant tomatoes. Or for example, like that was a random example that I don't even know why that came to my head. But anyway, you could totally do that and it will save you so much time instead of having to do all of that reading, which like reading is good, obviously good for you. But I mean, if you're a busy mom and a business owner and all the stuff, you just don't have time to read an entire article about something. So I hope you found this super helpful and it just kind of got the wheels turning in your head on how you can maximize some things in your life. I don't want you to go out and just obsess and do everything at once, because these things are learned habits, but you can implement just one thing and get really good at that, and it will definitely save you a ton of time, and then you can take that time and actually use it on something that you really want to invest in. And if you're like, this is all really great, Samantha, but I don't even know where to start on organizing my business and having the clarity that I need to even move forward, then I've got you. Go ahead and book a call with me and we'll do a breakdown of what you're wanting to do and how we can get you from point A to point B. And so until next time, so happy that you are here and I cannot wait to talk to you next week. I hope you walked away from this episode inspired to go and implement these things into your life and business. Remember to head to the show notes to get any links, guides, or discounts that were mentioned. And while you're there, leave me a 5-star review. Your feedback is the only way that I know you're enjoying and finding this podcast helpful. Until next episode, remember, it's those small daily steps that build big dreams.